District 105. Let me read the mission statement of our district. We build new clubs and support all clubs in achieving excellence. There are 3 taboo topics. They are sex, politics, and religion. I request each and every attendee to check the virtual background and to see that your audio is muted when the speakers are speaking. Now, it's time for me to introduce a Toastmaster who is a proven leader, an experienced communicator, Division L PR team member, President of Universal Toastmasters Club, VPPR of Ajman Orators Toastmasters Club, and who strongly believes that universe falls in love with stubborn hearts. Let's put our hands together to welcome the charming MC of the day, Toastmaster Midat Siddiqui. Over to you, Toastmaster Midat.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sindhu, for the warm welcome. Good evening, everyone. Show some spirit. Welcome to Area 59 education session. And I'm sure this is going to be a very interesting session. Do you know what is so special about today and specifically about this particular meeting? If you go through the agenda, you'll see that all the names mentioned in the agenda are people you see them always with a sweet smile, isn't it? I'm sure every one of you agree, right? Show me some reactions, virtual ones, literal ones, real ones. Yes, I can see the area director showing her radiant smile, so I believe, yes, I'm right. All right then, so it's time for me to begin without any further ado. So it's time for me to hand over the stage to someone who will be taking care and showing his address to our entire presence and audience over here. He's someone who has been into Toastmasters for 15 years. A very simple man, but if you sit with him for a few minutes or spend a few minutes of your time with him, you'll realize that yes, your cells or the energy in your body has been added with the humor that he adds to our life. Yes, he's a very charming person, full of happiness, and he adds more happiness to our Division K as well. So please put your hands together for none other than our Division K Director, Mr. DTM Nagarajan. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Midat. And I welcome you all members and guests, and particularly our Area Director 59, Erum Rizvi, who has taken a lot of pain burning midnight oil to make this education session an active and also a memorable one. Good luck, best wishes for you. Today is an important education session for our division, that is Tall Tales and Debate. I am one of the fans of the debate and also participated one time in the Tall Tales contest too. Very interesting, and also public speaking skills. We have been preparing the projects and all, how to do the Tall Tales. Even though we are doing every day at home these Tall Tales, but it is really how we make it interesting also. It is something like the other day someone said, Nagarajan, you have been made a international director for Region 11, and inshallah very soon you will become the TMI president and you will be shifting your home from Abu Shagara to Atlanta. How does it look? This is called Tall Tales, really. Nagarajan can never reach that one. It is too, I have to go step by step. Suddenly, somebody gives such an imagination, wider thing, then it becomes a tall tale. For that, who has to do? An experienced person who is here already, VP Menon, DTM. Oh, he's a fantastic person to give this tall tale session. So once the tall tale session is over, Nagarajan will return to UAE and the debate will start. What did this fellow did last 1 year? That is a debating session. So DTM Hariharan will start that one. What Nagarajan has did, whether he did something useful or not in the last 1 year. So that becomes a debating point. So today we are going to have both the sessions. Both the sessions That is, education is a tall tales as well as debates. Like all of you, I am also waiting eagerly to see and how it goes around. And I'm sure the MC will take care of everything, and also our area director, Erum Rizvi, is there to make everything is memorable. So I wish you all good luck and best wishes to the area director and also the members and guests to sit and watch and listen and enjoy this session today. Back to MC.
Thank you so much, DTM Nagarajan. Before you leave the virtual screen, I just have a quick question. Since our theme for today is persistence, would you like to share an incident or experience from your life to just inspire the audience present here? What persistence means to you?
It was really a persistence means when I compared myself with others that I lack speaking. Public speaking is not a fear for me. Speaking in English, so the persistence, and we must learn this. We must do something for this. Otherwise, I will remain as it is. At the age of 49, unfortunately, I got this wisdom and joined Toastmasters. That persistence is paid for me. Today, I am recognized, and also not only in the office but also to home. It is due to the Toastmasters that the word persistence. I am still pursuing that. Inshallah, I will reach the heights once again. Over to you.
Thank you so much. That was a wonderful message. Well, yes, persistence is not just about our actions, it's also about our thought, the continuity of all the things. And I believe that even in Toastmasters, that's what it all teaches us about. To keep learning, to keep working on ourselves, make ourselves a better person, a better speaker, a better leader, a better communicator, a better manager. There are endless things. So it's not just limited to one thing. Just take one step at a time. There is an old saying which goes something like, you cannot create a hole. There isn't, something like which goes like, you cannot create a hole in a rock just because of with the water. It's because of the continuity or the persistence that goes through it. So keep doing what you are doing. Just make sure that you are putting in more efforts and trying your best to do something better than you did yesterday. But one thing, don't compare yourself with anyone else except yourself. With that, it's time for me to hand over the stage to another leader who is also persistent. When I asked her what is her or what are her thoughts about persistence, she said that persistence never comes alone. It comes along with sincerity, loyalty, hard work, and hunger for vision. Well, it shows and reflects the work you are doing for Area 59. I wish, according to her, she says that I wish we all have at least one crazy dream in our lifetime that teaches us the beauty of persistence. Well, yes, you are walking the talk, lady. She is someone who is another person who is full of radiant. Whenever I see her with a charming smile on her face. And one thing is for sure, whenever I see that smile, it's a genuine smile. That's the beauty I really like about it. She's someone who has been only for almost 3 years in Toastmasters, but she has already left a mark so far. I'm just saying so far because there are so many more to go. She has represented the Division I as a champion speaker, and currently you see her that she is the area director. And not just that, she is a dotted mom. Along with that, she is a Wonder Woman. Yes. When I asked her to share one experience of persistence, she said that I made my mind to be a part of MNC at a young age. Well, she was able to accomplish that. She made sure that she stayed determined and never lose her focus. So please put your hands together for a charming leader, Area 59 Director, Toastmaster Erum.
Thank you very much, MC Toastmaster Medat. And Toastmaster Medat is not usually sticking to her script when we give her the introduction. So she adds a lot from her side. Thank you so much, fellow Toastmasters and guests. It is such a pleasure, a beautiful afternoon today, and so glad to see so many of you logged in early. So many leaders here, so many friends, people who are a part of family of Toastmasters fraternity. It's such a pleasure to have you here, along with my leader, DTM Nagarajan, and of course, we have DTM Abdul Muhammad Rahim, we have DTM Amjad Ali, we have DTM Siri Balsan, we have DTM Balaji here. So thank you so much, and many more who are here if I'm missing out the names. Persistence is the game, whether it's education sessions, whether it is contest, whether it's your projects, and Toastmasters' second name is persistence. You have to keep trying. You have to feel that your current project is better than the last one. You have to have the belief and a crazy spirit to do better the next time once you get off the stage or the virtual stage. And that's what Toastmasters has taught me, that it doesn't stop at winning or losing. It actually never stops, because whenever you come out of the stage, get off the stage or switch off your camera, you make another oath that next time I'm going to be better than today. And that's what we have learned all over the history. When we look at the owner of KFC, hitting the mark after 1,009 failures at the age of 74. We look at Wright brothers who have failed for so long, and by the time they won, there was nobody there to look at their success. And we keep on seeing this among the leaders over here who kept on trying, kept on doing it till they hit. And the best thing about Toastmasters is that even if they are DTM, even if they're division directors, they're district directors, I don't see them stopping. They keep on trying to hit the next mark, and that's persistence. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Medhat, to bring up such a beautiful theme. And I wish everyone have a great time today. We have kept it small and crisp so that you get more value. We have Q&A session after each session, quick 10 minutes, so that we answer the crisp question. And hopefully this is going to add a lot of value to your upcoming contest. So over to you, Toastmaster Medhat.
Thank you so much, Area Director Toastmaster Erum. Wow, that was really sweet and simple. So according to agenda, we have this debate session. So what is debate is all about? Well, debate is something which teaches you the art to send across your thoughts, voice it in a manner that the other person or the opponent party doesn't feel offended, but still you're able to pass it on and throw it across. And who could we assign? I mean, we couldn't find anyone better to assign this particular role. Now, when it comes to this person, I'm just sharing my personal opinion, my personal observation, because I wasn't able to get any introduction, but he is someone, if you attend his session for a few minutes, at the end of the session, you'll realize that you have added more words to your vocabulary. The moment he comes on stage, you could see that he is very calm, composed, he's confident, and he knows what he is going to do. A very humble person, been into Toastmasters for 17 years. But whenever he's on stage, you could see that he is a humble leader and he's still striving to do better than yesterday. And he is persistent in improving himself and making sure that he becomes a better Toastmaster with each and every role he is assigned. He has been a president, sergeant in arms, taken up all the roles, because these roles are not just about the title. It is all about the education and learning that comes with each role. So without any further ado, please put your hands together for another person with a smiling face and the addition of dimples. Please put your hands together for none other than DTM Hariharan. Over to you, sir. We cannot hear you. Your mic is on mute.
Marvelous, magnificent, Medhat. Thank you so much for that brilliant introduction. In fact, complimenting me for my dimples. You can take them if you want. Now, thank you very much also, erudite and eloquent Erum, for giving me this opportunity to be a part of Area 59. So before I go any further, I'm a man with slides. I love to talk with slides. So you can share, I'll share my screen. During the entire session, if you feel that if I'm speaking something that you're not able to understand, please feel free to possibly unmute and ask me questions there. Or if you want to take it at the end of the program, I leave it to you. Now, there is a very famous quote that Archbishop Desmond Tutu put across. He said, "Don't raise your voice, raise your argument." Now, and I also saw something recently which said that the difference between an argument and a debate is, argument is all about finding out who's correct. A debate is all about finding what is correct. So we are here to understand what is correct and not who's correct. Therefore, in a debate, the rule number one policy that you should keep in mind is do not, I'm saying again, do not, very importantly, raise any form of personal attack. This is one of the most important things that you need to remember in a debate. I'm starting it even before anything because I've had the pleasure, or rather the distinction of being, in fact, my team and I, for being disqualified on a personal attack. So if you are aggressive in a debate, it's useless. It doesn't work. You need to be assertive with your language. So that is the first rule. Now, before we go any further into the topic, let me tell you, a debate is something where two teams are getting together and they are discussing a motion that's on the floor. So the motion is designed in such a way that usually that's the thought process of the person who's designing the motion, that it is equally balanced on both sides. Now, there are topics that you would get which may be heavily loaded onto the other side. They may be either loaded for or against. Do not allow these thoughts to come into your mind, even if they are loaded against you. Remember this, the judges also know about it. So they will go usually hard or on the person who's got it for them, as against the person or the team against whom the topic is heavily loaded. So remember this, when you get a topic, do not get flustered by the fact that, oh my God, we can't speak anything on this. If you cannot speak much, even the smallest or the softest words you speak will make the loudest noise and scream through everybody's ears. So this is rule number two. So don't get flustered when you get a topic, think rationally. And last and not the least, when you have formed your team, ensure that your team has got great coordination, because if there is no coordination and one of you all or all of them are speaking in different directions, automatically there is something known as cacophony. It's not symphony, it's a cacophony. So symphony is when you have the music playing actually in the right tune and everybody's playing as per what they have to play. Cacophony is everybody is playing whatever they want. So it will become like a cacophony. So ensure that you all are having coordination. So these are the first three things I want you to keep in mind and note down even before we begin the debate. Because if you have these three in mind, then your debate will go through very easily. So let's get into the presentation and let me tell you how does a debate go. First things first, there are two teams, and in the conventional style of debating, we follow Toastmasters rather follows a very simple form of debating, and the one that we have is an even more watered and diluted version of what is there in Toastmasters. There are two versions that Toastmasters follows. There is one that you see on your screen here, and there is one that is also comprises of 4 members in a team, and there is one also another form wherein you have got cross-examination between the speakers. Now all of that has been done away with. They've kept it very simple and easy, slick and absolutely swanky, simple, easy. So just come there, speak what you have to speak, and then let go. So in this form of a debate, remember, you get a certain amount of time. We will discuss the time in a while from now, to make your point and ensure that you're able to convince the audience. So you do not get a second chance to come on stage. This is very important to remember. You do not get a second chance to make that first impression. So what does it mean? It means that people have to be thinking on their feet. They have to be confident of what they are speaking. And third, very important, you have to be assertive with your language. Assertive, again, I'm saying is not arrogance or being aggressive. It's being simply assertive. So how do you word your entire debate and your arguments means a lot. So how does a debate actually flow? First things first, you have two teams, as I said, one speaking for and one speaking against. In the debate parlance, this team speaking for is usually said as the proposition team, and the team speaking against is supposed to be the opposition team. Now, proposition, opposition is hard to pronounce. So what we did, we just put for and against. So the for team is going to be building a case on how the topic is, or they are speaking for, or going to give all the advantages of why the topic has to be the way it is. And the against team is going to be trying to speak about why or what makes them think that the topic should be put the other way. So we need to understand that both of them are going to be building cases, and there is an audience there, there is a judges panel there, which has to be convinced. Now, so how does the debate flow? First things first, you have an opening speaker in each of the two teams. Now, this opening speaker is the key. This opening speaker is the one who's going to build the case. Now, if it is for the proposition team, please try and understand the proposition speaker, the opening speaker, will have to give 3, maybe 4 solid points on why they think that that particular topic is, they are going to be speaking for the topic. Or if the motion is, let us say, is science a boon or a bane to mankind, they need to speak for boon. So supposing I'm going to say science is a boon to mankind, you'll have to speak for boon. There's no way you can speak against it. So how do you build a case against for the topic is what is going to be seen by the judges. This is number 1. Number 2, it is very important for the opening speaker. Please note this down. The opening speaker has to do 3 things most importantly. Come onto the stage. First, state the motion. I'm saying again, first, state the motion. Very importantly, whatever the motion is. So for example, we picked up the topic, science is a boon to mankind. So the opening speaker comes and says, my team and I strongly believe that science is a boon to mankind. So you state the motion. The second most important thing is pick up key words in the entire definition, in the entire motion, and define it. Give it a scope, because your entire team will be speaking only on that scope. Please remember this. You build a scope around it, or build 4 walls and say, this is around which we are going to speak. Then that helps your entire team to stand in coordination. I told you coordination is key, symphony. So you need to ensure that you build those walls and ensure that your people speak within that. So that is the second thing. So state the motion, define the key words in the definition. And the third most important thing, to these or to this motion, you'd have to have 3, at the most 4 solid examples. Remember this, 3 or 4 maximum solid examples to substantiate the motion or to substantiate your stand. Now, if you're speaking against, it also stands for against. So if you're speaking against, let me give you an example. Science is a boon to mankind. You're going to be saying, no, science is a bane to mankind. So you define, you state the motion, define science, define boon, and then you give 3 or 4 examples as to why you feel that science is not a boon to mankind. Now, when you are stating these examples, just don't read those examples. It's very important that you state the example, number 1. Number 2, you need to give a key reference as to where you picked it up from, a date, and the journal or the publishing house or the author or whichever book that you picked it up from, you need to give that reference to. So not only is the statement important, but also a key reference has to be given as to when the research was actually completed, and who is it, or who is the publishing house that has published it. Now, do not remember this. You cannot bring statistics of 100 years ago. For example, science was a boon 100 years ago, or a bane 100 years ago because, or 70 years ago because there was an atomic bomb dropped on a particular country. Now, we need to understand that happened 60 or 70 years ago. Today we are 70 years away, and your particular argument does not hold water. So try and bring latest information as much as possible. Don't bring old information, because somebody may say generation gaps happen over 10 years nowadays. So you need to ensure that you are getting in latest, absolutely new forms of statistics. So research quite well. Now, once the opening speaker from the proposition team opens or the for team opens, so what is the person doing? As I said, three things. The person is going to be stating the motion, the person is going to be defining the motion, and the person is going to bring 2 or 3, maybe 4 examples that is going to substantiate their topic. And then the person will close with a solid closing, stating, with this and with all the points that I have spoken today, we in the house believe that this is the motion, that science is a boon to mankind, and we urge you all to vote in favor of us. Say that and go away, because what happens is every time you need to convince the audience to get that vote, and that's important. The judges and the audience need to feel that they need to vote for you. If you don't ask, you will not receive. So please ask for the vote as well before you leave your podium. Now let's go to the against speaker. So the opening speaker for and against, I've already given you the key. Now in the against speaker, very, very important, and there was an education session that I had seen on the debate, and somebody had raised a very valid point. They said the opening speaker from the proposition team or the for team has spoken. During the proposition team or the for team's opening speaker speaking, the against team opening speaker is watching. That means the against team opening speaker can pick up a few points from the for team speaker's opening and start to rebut it. Now remember, you have to be extremely smart to do it, because the moment the judges come to know that you have rebutted a single point from the opening speaker from the proposition team, they will not give you points. And if you've got some judges who are extremely smart, they will actually mark you down on the judges' ballot. This is very important. Do not try this stunt. This stunt is dangerous. Some people may pull it off, but everybody cannot pull it off. So do not try this at home. Do not. We are all not great debaters. We're still learning to debate. So please don't try it. Now let's go to the rebuttal speaker. The rebuttal speaker who's going to come in first is the rebuttal speaker from the against team. Why? Because the opening speaker from the proposition team has already spoken, or for team has already spoken, and the rebuttal speaker has got enough amount of time to prepare his or her points, because his team's opening speaker, that is the opening speaker from the against team, is speaking. So that 3 minutes is what the rebuttal speaker from the against team is going to get to quickly jot down what points he or she is going to be rebutting from as compared to the opening speaker from the proposition team. Now, 3 things that the rebuttal speaker needs to remember. 3 things. First things first, you need to rebut all the points, if possible. All the points, if possible, from the proposition team. You have to rebut, if possible, all the points that have been put up by the opening speaker from the proposition team. For rebuttal speakers, of course, this is for both. So the opening speaker has spoken. You have those points. Try and rebut every possible point. Number 2, do not, I'm saying again, do not bring in any fresh points. Now, how do you bring in fresh points? I will give you a key. You have a particular point on which you are rebutting. So let us say, they say that the science has helped in the form that we have got today, radiation that helps in curing cancer, right? And you are going to be saying that radiation actually causes cancer in many cases, which has been seen over a period of time for people who work in possibly the atomic research centers. You say that, and then you bring in a new point, but remember that new point should be around radiation. It cannot be something to do with something else completely. So remember, if you're bringing in a new point, smartly slip it in only where that particular point is being spoken by the other speaker. Don't bring in something which is completely out of the game. Judges can see it, judges can hear it, and judges will be watching you. Right? So rebuttal speakers, first things first, try and rebut all the important points or all the points put up from the other side. Number 2, do not bring in any new points. Number 3, rebuttal speakers usually, they say that if your rebuttal speaker is an aggressive speaker, you'll automatically get through because aggression helps. Believe me, aggression does not help, because sometimes in that frame of mind of aggression or that rage that you have, you might just border into personal attacks. Personal attacks can lead to disqualification. As I told you, I had the distinction, and in fact, DTM Balaji is sitting right here, and he was the chief judge when he had to disqualify us. So please be very careful that you do not become excessively aggressive, agitated, and become arrogant, because once you get into that area, then finished. There's nobody to help you. So please be subtle with your humor, very subtle with your sarcasm, and extremely subtle with how you are addressing your opposition team or your proposition team. So if you're saying, my learned opponents, brilliant, my learned opponents, my honorable opponents. So try and use good amount of parliamentary language and do not demean them. Also, do not use names. For example, let us say on the other side, the proposition team opening speaker, let us say was DTM Nagarajan. I cannot say DTM Nagarajan said this point. Do not go personal. You can say the opposition team's opening speaker said this. So it is more like you targeting the team than targeting an individual. So this is the 3 keys or 3 important points for the rebuttal speaker. Rebuttal speaker, I will tell you one more thing that you need to keep in mind is it is good to have sarcasm. Again, it is good to have a certain degree of humor, and it is also good to have a certain degree of aggression. However, I'm saying again, please control it, because entire debate can go out of your hand if you do not go in the right sequence and if you don't follow the guidelines. Last but not the least is you have your summary speaker. So because you had the rebuttal speaker, so you had the opening speaker from the proposition team, the opening speaker from the against team or the opposition team, you had the rebuttal speaker from the opposition team or against team, then you have the rebuttal speaker from the proposition team or the for team. Now the motion flows back to the opposition team. The summary speaker of the opposition team will always speak first. People ask me why. The answer is very simple. Somebody who started it is the proposition team. So automatically the proposition team summary speakers will speak last. They are the ones who close the debate. So the summary speaker of the opposition team will come in first, and then the summary speaker of the proposition team comes in next. So what happens when the summary speaker comes in? The summary speaker has got to do 3 things again. Very simple. Summarize the points that have been spoken by the opening speaker. Pick up the 2 or 3 points that have made that impression. Pick up 2 or 3 points. Number 2, pick up 2 or 3 points that you felt have made an impact by the rebuttal speaker. Third most important, when you start your speech and you end your speech, remember to state the motion. What is your stand? Close again with stating the motion. What's your stand? And ask for that vote. It is very important for the summary speaker to ask for that vote, because that is what remains in the end. The summary speaker is the speaker who speaks last and leaves that impression. Usually, the opening speaker is remembered and the summary speaker is remembered, because those two are the opening and closing. The rebuttal speaker usually gets forgotten, because if the rebuttal speaker is extremely good, then he or she is also remembered. But usually the opening and the summary is remembered. In the summary, remember, cardinal rule is never bring in new points. You may be itching to bring in that point, but no, try and control your urge. Please do not bring any new points, right? Now this is the flow. Let me take you into what are the key areas. So you know what's the key areas. I've given you three suggestions for each as to what you should keep in mind. Over and above this, let's look at what are the things that you can do in terms of ensuring that there is coordination within the team. So first things first, as I told you, remember, each of you should state the position of the team on the subject. Very important, identify what are the main elements in the motion. Third, present your main arguments. Your strongest point should come first. Do not get into areas where you think that the point is weak. And before you leave the stage, again, state what the position of your team is when it comes to the debate. So this is something that you need to keep in mind. State the motion, identify which are the main points, ensure that you don't get into any weak points, and then close with stating the motion again, right? So how does it flow? Very simple. You have the topic, you have a lot of explanation and logic, and remember, in a debate, emotions don't count. You may have had an experience which is your experience. It may not be my experience. So you'll have to pick up a very larger or a broad spectrum of people in the world who have gone through that particular experience. So please remember, do not bring personal stories. They very rarely sell. They very rarely sell. I'm saying again, very rarely do they sell. So do not bring personal stories. Second, very important is bring a solid primary example, support it with a secondary example, and then link it to the motion. That's the closing part of the any speaker. So if you're a rebuttal speaker, opening speaker, you'll have to follow these. The summary speaker, of course, may not follow this, because the summary speaker has to only summarize the points. Now, when it comes to the rebuttal speaker, so I'll spend some time here. Rebuttal speaker, remember this, and I'm saying this again. Rebuttal speakers, if they are good and if they are solid with their vocabulary, are able to understand well, are able to dissect the speech well of the opposition team, trust me, you will win the debate. Because rebuttal speakers usually are the weakest links. It is very hard to make those points and formulate your speech in those 3 minutes that your opening speaker is speaking. So ideally, what you should do, my suggestion to any opening speaker or rebuttal speaker is this: always shut your ears when your team is speaking. Keep your ears open when your opposite team, the opposition or the proposition, or the proposition opening speaker or opposition opening speaker is speaking. The opening speakers. Keep your ears absolutely open only then. Otherwise, your ears should be completely shut. If you want to carry cotton buds, carry them and put them into the ears so that you don't have to hear them. Because if the moment you bring in a new point, you are dead. You get marked down on the judge's ballot. So please remember this. You have to keep your ears shut when your team is speaking. When it comes to rebuttal, so what are the things that you do? 2 or 3 points again that you pick up from their team. Remember, the opposite or the proposition team or the opposition team, whichever team you're going to be facing off with, will have some solid points. But every solid point will have a negative impact. So what do you do is, when your opening speaker has made his or her speech, the easiest way of finding rebuttal points or preparing for a rebuttal is to flip these points itself as an against. What can you do, or what are those points that you can raise against these points? Because you are standing for a motion, possibly for or against it, and your opening speaker has framed up the speech. What you do is Flip these the other way around and try and find out what is the statistics, what data do you have that you can actually counter these points. And that's how your rebuttal speech will come alive. You don't have to work too much. Just know what are the points your opening speaker is going to speak, and your job is done. Just counter those, and usually the opposite team will come with those particular points which you can rebut very easily. Remember, when it comes to summary, again, state the team's motion. Very, very important. Where are we standing? Include all the points that have been spoken by the opening speaker, possibly 2, possibly 3, the strongest ones. Speak points, maybe 2, maybe 3 from the rebuttal speaker, and restate your position. That's very, very important. If you do not restate your position and do not ask for that vote, remember, you will not get that vote. And I told you, the summary speaker remains in the mind of the audience. Right? Now, let's get into the judges' ballot. In the judges' ballot, if you look at it, it is broken into 2 parts. There is a 70% and a 30%. So 70% is purely on content and 30% is purely on delivery. If you notice, it is extremely loaded towards content. So it is not about how you're saying it. It is all about what you're saying. I'm saying again, it's not about how you say it. It's all about what you are saying. So in the content, let us dive deeper and see what does this 70% actually comprise. The first one is the debate content itself. In the content, you've got organization, structure, and material which supports. You cannot be passing motherhood statements without statistics. This is one of the reasons why people fail. You cannot be passing global statements without statistics. Usually you would notice that the judges will mark you down. Second, you need to have thorough logic with your idea, conviction, and believability. You cannot be stammering. You not be saying, looking into the sky. Does not work. Last and not the least, how well is your team's coordination there? So this will be the last thing that actually your judges will be marking, because it's going to look at coordination, it's going to look at a little bit of rebuttal and conclusion that's going to come in terms of what you have spoken. So please remember, it is all about what you speak. So remember your point, you need to have a solid amount of logic around your point and have a lot of examples around your points. Then when I look further, when it comes to delivery mechanism, your voice should be clear in terms of flexibility and voice tonality, in terms of directness. You cannot be excessively overtly direct by calling out names, as I said, but you can address your audience or your opposite team in a particular manner, say learned opponents, my learned opposition, my honorable opposition, all that you can say. Then you have got 10 points for correctness in terms of grammar, pronunciation, and other stuff. Remember, it's only 10% of grammar and pronunciation and other words. That means it is all about logic, idea, supporting material, coordination, summary, rebuttal. All of these carry more weightage. So focus on that than anything else. So what is the timing like? So I just told you that you'll have the opening speaker from the for team. This speaker gets 3 minutes. It depends on how the division wants to take it. Usually they have got 2.5 minutes, they'll have green. At 3, there will be a red, and 10 seconds, the speaker will actually have to be muted, or in a live audience, we used to start clapping. So there is that grace period of 10 seconds. I don't know how your division wants to keep it, but this is what is usually followed. This is for the opening speaker. For the rebuttal speaker, again, you've got 3 minutes. Now you have got usually at 2:30 you will have the green going in, and at 3 you will have red, and then there is a clapping. In the summary speaker, you will have, it's actually for 2 minutes. So ideally at 1.5 minutes there would be a green, and at 2 there will be a red, and 10 seconds there would be the person would be muted. Now the most important that you need to note is, after you're muted, whatever points you make, nobody is going to listen to you. So ensure that your speech is nicely chiseled within that particular amount of time that you have. Do not at any point in time add stuff or bring in stuff that does not matter and overshoot time. Here there is no disqualification, but the flip side is you will not get points for all those points that you're making. So remember to ensure that you have your timing impeccably correct. Last and not the least, I started with stating that we got disqualified when we had personal attack. I was also involved wherein my team and I got disqualified when one of our members didn't show up on time. It is very important that all of us, our team members, the team is together at all times and you are there present during the conference. It shouldn't happen that somebody has gone to the washroom and they are not able to come on time. Because usually if the person is not speaking or the person is not there, there's a 30-second grace period. The person doesn't come in 30 seconds, then that person gets disqualified. In the district debate event that we had, the showcase, we had a fourth speaker who could come and start speaking, but that's not how it works here. There is no fourth speaker, there's no super sub, as you would call it. So it is those three people who need to be constantly attentive, aware, and absolutely available at any point in time during the debate. Because if you lose your focus for even 1 second, you just lost something that could have been of benefit to you. So it's very important that you keep your energies together and constantly look out for what's happening in that debate. I'm open to taking questions. In fact, I finished my time about 10 minutes early, only to keep the questions a little longer because I know a lot of people will have questions. Over to you, Medat, and you can help me with the questions if there is any. I will stop sharing so we can see all of us. Yeah.
Thank you so much, TT Hariharan. Now, for sure, everyone knows the art, how to debate. So next time, if you have any situation with your mom where she is asking you to stay home and eat the food that she has cooked, and you have this argument that, no, mom, we should go outside. So now you know how to do the debate part without even making her feel bad or sad, right?
You know what, Medat, I told Master Medat, I would love to have my mother's food than going out and having it.
That was just an example, but yeah, okay.
I understand.
Same here. I can understand. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, now we'll be having our Q&A session, which will be conducted by our moderator, Toastmaster Anwar, who belongs to Sharjah Toastmasters Club, and he is a VPPR for UAE Advanced Club. So feel free to shoot the question so that it can be addressed by DTM Hariharan.
Hi, thank you, MC. Actually, only one question comes from all of the participants so far.
My goodness.
Question from Syed Ahmed.
Yes.
Is there any format or structure for a rebuttal speaker, as opening and closing speaker have a structure to follow?
Good. Now, what happens with the rebuttal speaker, the structure is very simple. You come in, so you'll have an opening wherein you state the motion, you state the position of the team that you are on, so was for or against. Then you state by saying the team that spoke before me had so many points, say 3 points, 4 points, 5 points, and say I'm going to be rebutting so many points. So if there are 5 points, I'm going to be rebutting all those 5 points to start with. Then you start rebutting, and then you finish rebutting, and then say the points that they put in were so loose and flexible that we could punch holes so easily, and therefore we believe that this debate is in our favor, and we urge this house to vote for or against that particular topic, and the job is done.
Thank you, Team Hariharan. I think you have cleared all the points. There's no question. I don't know.
Okay. So I'll tell you.
Can I ask?
Yes, please go ahead.
Just one clarification that when your time is over, do you get 10-second grace period? Like some clubs, they give 10 seconds after the 3 minutes or it is exact 3 minutes?
Yeah, so usually in the debates that I have taken part in all the division debates till date, we usually have 3 minutes, 3 minutes and 2 minutes. So 3 minutes for the opening, 3 minutes for the rebuttal and 2 minutes for the summary speaker. It's usually 3 plus 10 seconds and it will close out, because the red will come 10 seconds before and you know that you need to start closing and you get only those 10 seconds to close. That's why I said it depends on how your division is planning that particular timing schedule. So if you saw on my presentation, there was even an amber color, but till date in all the division debates that I was there in, the amber has not been used at all.
Thank you.
So when the rule book comes out, that your division director DTM Nagarajan is a seasoned, I must say, he's a seasoned, stunning, superb debater. He will know that rule book at the back of his hand and he will design it keeping every small detail in mind. And I'm sure he will come out with something which is good enough.
I had
it is his good sense.
Yeah, I had a grace of being in opposition team of when he was a debater. So I know, so I'm looking forward for that book.
He will ensure that you have the best debates in town.
Yeah, we have one question from Syed Ahmed again. Syed Ahmed, can you ask the question, please?
Yes, hello everyone. Good evening.
Hi, Syed. Good evening.
How are you, sir? Thank you for the education
I'm fine.
session.
Don't call me sir. I'm Hariharan.
Thank you so much, Hariharan. That was a very great session. I have just one more question regarding the rebuttal speaker. That is, if the opening speaker of the opposition team or the proposition team, they have very much added statistics. So, what are the tips to rebut against that? Because if there is no statistics, we can easily say that you don't have valid statistics for this, and so I believe it's your assumption.
Correct.
How about if they have proper statistics, then how can we rebut that?
You need to understand that statistics and reference and also when they give you dates and publishing houses or publishers who have published it, there would also be counters to it. So when you are researching, when your opening speaker is actually preparing his or her opening speech, you have to identify what are the points that your opposition team is going to bring in. Always look for references against those. So you should be prepared with data, with statistics and reference points which will be against your opening speaker. Now that you know that, you know what statistics you have. So say you have this statistic, I have this statistics. I'm sorry to say this, this is not what, in fact you can say this, there are hundreds of journals that say that coffee is bad for health. But there are equally number of hundreds of journals which say that coffee is good for heart attacks and health. So which will you believe? Very simple. So you leave the judges to make that call. You should have, so remember, your opening speaker will have statistics. If you're going to be countering any particular statistics that's been spoken by the opening speaker of the opposite team, whichever that is, for or against, you use your opening speaker statistics, saying, my opening speaker said the statistics and this applies right here. You can go back to that. You can build on your opening speaker speech. It nowhere says that you cannot build on your opening speaker speech. A smart rebuttal speaker is one who will rebut the points of the opposite team and also ensure to build on the opening speaker speech. That is the way to do it.
Okay, thank you so much. So I can use the statistics which are provided by my opening speaker and
Yes,
then rebut the
in
opening
reference
speaker
to
of
that.
the other
Yes,
team.
absolutely. I'm sure you would have heard my opening speaker say that this particular statistics, and I must tell you, if you have said this, this is a supplement to it, or this is a complement to it, or this is against it. You can say that.
Okay, thank you so much.
No problem.
Thank you, DTM Hariharan. Hope you have Syed Ahmed have understand all the concerns. Now we have a question from Area Director Erum Rizvi. How are winners determined if rebuttal and openness get more recognition?
Good, very nice. Now this is what we need to understand, that at the end of the debate, we look at the cumulative scores of how the team has performed. Now the summary speaker will speak only the points that have been laid down by the opening and the rebuttal speaker. That is why the summary speaker has got less amount of time. But remember, the summary speaker leaves that mark behind. Even though the summary speaker has got only 2 minutes, the summary speaker leaves that mark behind because he or she can make or break the debate. Usually summary speakers come and they will give their own gyan. I'm sorry to say this. Summary speakers are not supposed to give their own gyan. They are not here to bring in absolutely new points. They are supposed to say, my opening speaker said A, B, C. My rebuttal speaker said D, E, F. And with that, we believe that this motion is like this, and therefore we stand for the motion or against the motion, and we urge this house to vote for us. So the asking and the re-emphasis is done by the summary speaker. So the question of the summary speaker not getting enough amount of recognition is actually bodged down there. When it comes to judging ballot, each of them is going to get a score. The opening speaker will get scores, the rebuttal speaker will get scores, the summary speaker will get scores. The sum total of all three will determine the team's success or the team's victory. If I'm able to show that to you again, let me show that slide to you. So if you look at the judges ballot, look at the bottom here. It's a sum total of all three. See this? It's a sum total of all the three scores. So all of them are getting a score against 100. It's a very simple concept. I hope that has answered Toastmaster Erum's question.
Thank you, DTM Hariharan. Now we have an interesting question from Syed Ahmed again. What do you do when you know that there are certain points which do not have any rebuttal? Can we have some handy tactics for counterattack?
Yes, you can. Very simple is do not take them at all. Do not touch upon those points. Pick on the ones that are weak. For example, I'll give you this, and this is a very beautiful example that I pick up from the movie Rocky. It is part 4 of Rocky, and Rocky is preparing to put down a speaker. To put down a boxer, sorry, not a speaker. It's always a speaker in the mind. So when he is practicing, his coach tells him, you need to give that boxer body blows because he is weak on the body. So you need to you need to hit those punches where it hurts the most and where you can have maximum damage. There will be some points that you can never rebut because they are common sense and they are the way it is. However, there will be some which will be weak. Pick on those. And if you do not have any, it's very difficult that you not have any. If you do not have any, simply build on your opening speaker's debate points. That's it. You don't have anything else to do. You can't do anything else.
Okay, thank you, Jim Hariharan. I have one question. When will be the topic given for debate? Is just before the contest or it can be given early?
Good question. So there are two ways that is done. The first round wherein you'll have all the clubs participating, that is given, I think 2 or 3 days in advance, maybe 1 week in advance. From then on, when it moves into the quarterfinals and semifinals and finals, you'll be given the topic on that particular moment. So quarterfinals, I think, gets 15 minutes. Semifinals and finals get 10 minutes. So you'll have the topic and 10 minutes and then you have to speak. Nagarajan sir, am I right with that?
Now we have a question from Officer Latif. How a shade of taboo is treated, especially certain topics are more of political nature.
Okay. Now, good. Please, Anwar, read. Is that question got a supplement?
No. If I want to repeat the question.
No, it's fine. So, very important. Taboo is when the moment. So, when the title or the speech is being, when the motion is being defined, the motion is defined keeping the area directors in mind. So, it is the question of the division director, the area director, and the debate committee sitting down and looking at whether there is an element of political or possibly religion, or you are having a concept of ecstasy or sex coming into play. You will automatically turn it down. In case if you have a topic that is still neutral and you bring in politics, religion, or believe me, sex, the judges can even go up to disqualifying the team. DTM Balaji is here, and I know he has come across thousands of instances wherein teams have been disqualified even on taboo. So you should be very careful. Do not even go that way.
I think there's a DTM Nagarajan have one question.
Yes.
Please, sir.
Yeah. Just to add to that, I came to my mind. During your session, you mentioned address the opposition, speaker 1, speaker 2, speaker 3 and all, not by names. I don't think we can call the speaker Hariharan said like this, speaker Anwar Shahid said like this. We can address it in a little more assertive tone. That doesn't mean we are aggressive.
Correct. You can also say this. In fact, rather than taking names, you can say the opening speaker from the opposition team, the rebuttal speaker from the opposition team. You can even say that if you do not want to take names. I am an old man. I have lost all hair and graying also. I forget names. So I say opening speaker, rebuttal speaker. Simple, easy.
That was looking very ordinary. When you ascertain with the names and all, it gives more punches.
DTM Nagarajan is an amazing rebuttal speaker. I will take what he says as cardinal truth.
Thank you.
Okay, Toastmaster Anwar, I have 2 questions for Hari.
Yes. DTM Balaji, that is. Oh my God. Okay.
Okay.
Please, sir.
Number one, Hari, is you were disqualified twice.
Yes.
That is the reason you said. So the first question is, how did you feel after being disqualified, and how did you face your team members or your club? Number 1. Number 2, what is the secret success of winning a debate contest? I really want to win if I'm competing. So what are the secrets to success?
To answer the first question of DTM Balaji, he was the one who disqualified me the first time. And I remember we got disqualified because one of the rebuttal speaker was extremely aggressive and he said something. And I remember when I came to the club, because I was mentoring the team, I actually came with my eyes down because you're carrying the load of the club. And as you're going higher, it becomes heavier. Then you're carrying your area along. And when you come to the division and you're going to be going further up, you're carrying the division on your shoulders. So automatically, yes, it was a little hard. And this is where I request people to understand that the entire club is looking up. So do not make such mistakes and don't get disqualified for stupid reasons like what happened to us the first time. The second time was even more stupid. I told you, our team member didn't come. We were sitting on the stage. Our opening speaker didn't come. We got disqualified on time. So not easy. The opening speaker even today because of whom we got disqualified, even today keeps telling us, my mistake, that day we could have won it. We could have easily won because the topic was on our side. We had some amazing preparation done. So be very careful. The important point for winning a debate, to answer DTM Balaji's second question, there are 3 secrets and I will give it to you today. This is what I do. I will research my topic thoroughly. You know what people do? They will just go and type Google and pick up the first few links and then start speaking. Do not do that. The first few links are obvious ones. Search deeper. Get into areas that they do not want to get into. Ideally, look at the entire topic. Look at the definition of those words. Sometimes the definition will open horizons, will open areas, open arenas which people do not want, which they would have even not thought of. So it's like breaking the box and moving into new arenas. That's the first one. Second, ensure that the entire team is in coordination. Everybody should be speaking the same language and you should be in symphony, as I say. Don't be cacophony. And last and not the least, the third most important is, if all of the team members do their due role properly, that is the opening speaker puts up his points or her points, the rebuttal speaker shuts the ear when the opening speaker speaks, but only when the opening speaker or the opposition team is speaking, job done. Summary speaker shut the ears when the opposition team is speaking, keep your ears open when your team is speaking, you will win. That is a secret I have seen. You don't have to do anything else. I hope I've answered your question, DTM Balaji.
Thank you, Hari.
It's easier to rebut. I'm reading something.
Good luck.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, DTM Hariharan. We are getting close to the time.
Yes.
And DTM Hariharan, you have done a wonderful session, and I hope you have answered everyone's concern. And before closing the section, do you have any takeaway message that the participants have to be very careful of having a debate?
I'm saying again, too much of aggression is not required. Do not go for too many jargons and heavy usage of words. Do not required. And last and not the least, the secrets that I told you. Keep your ears closed when you need to keep it closed, and keep your ears open when you have to keep it open. Else, all the rest will fall in place.
Thank you, DTM Hariharan. Thank you very much. Now, over to MC Midat.
Thank you so much, DTM Hariharan and moderator Toastmaster Anwar. DTM Hariharan, you made it sound like a easy peasy piece of cake to be a debater. Now, before we move forward, may I request everyone, because it's time for us to capture this interesting moment. So may I request everyone to please switch on their cameras so our Zoom master can take a group picture. Okay. All right. So I still need more people to switch on their cameras. Don't be shy. Feel free to show your beautiful face with a beautiful smile. It's a beautiful day after all today. Yes, that's the spirit. We are Toastmasters.
That when you are there, my camera refuses to open.
Okay, so I'll start clicking pictures, but I still don't see people. Okay, yeah. All right then. Are we ready? Show your beautiful smile. Say 1, 2, 3. Say cheese. I'll just take another screenshot of another screen. 1, 2, 3. Say cheese. Thank you everyone for breaking the ice and switching on your videos. Thank you so much. I hope you continue enjoying the session. Okay, with that, I have a small story, a short story, not a small one, a short story to share with everyone. Now, this particular person, he said that persistence is something, let's say, you may have the best of the talent, but if you have the ability to be persistent and keep trying is not there, then you might not be able to reach the level of success that you deserve. This particular person decided to quit his job in 2013. And he said himself that, yes, I'll start my own business now. He faced many challenges. There was a time where he was like, okay, I'll be dropping the balls. I won't go any further. But then he said that, why should I give up? I should keep going on. That is the key for persistence, to never give up, to never quit. Keep doing it. There will be a time where you will reach the end of the tunnel. And there is always light at the end of the tunnel. And yes, after trying it for 7 long years, he was able to reach the end of the tunnel where he could see the light. And now he is a successful person running a successful entrepreneur and running his own business of training company. He is someone who has been into Toastmasters for 2 decades. Wow. And when I asked him what he believes about persistence, he shared this quote that patience, persistence, and perspiration makes an unbeatable combination of success. He is someone who is full of energy, and he is the right choice to tell us the art of storytelling. Please put your hands together for DTM VP Menon to present the Tall Tale Education session. Over to you, sir.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Midat. Now that was a good tall tale, wasn't it? Yeah, a lot of exaggerations, but I enjoyed it. So nice to see a lot of friends here. Yeah. Some of whom we haven't seen for a long time because of COVID. Thank you, Hari. I didn't see the whole session, but I could see the last 15 minutes probably of your session. So today, how many of you here are actually intending to participate in a tall tale contest in your clubs? Can you please switch on your cameras?
Thank you very much, DTM.
Or at least raise your hands with that, whatever is available in Zoom. Nobody? Except for Erum? And Midat? Okay. Okay, no, I thought if it's only just 1 or 2 people, I could personally come and take a session for you. But anyway, jokes apart, today I have been asked to brief you on Tall Tale Contest, and I presume it's for you to be able to participate in your club contest. So, Erum, is that the whole idea, so that they are able to participate in the club contest and then probably have it at the area level?
Yes, sir. All of the clubs in Area 59 are going to go for Tall Tales contest.
Okay, very nice. So, good. So I would request permission. Okay, I think I can share the screen. Okay, can the host give me permission to share screen?
Yes, given. Now you can share the screen.
Let me try again. Okay. Fantastic. So are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So this is going to be the long and short of Tall Tales. So we will spend quickly about 15 minutes. I will show you this presentation with some useful information. And then what we are going to do actually is we are going to do an exercise. So have a paper and pencil or pen close to you, a writing pad or a pen, because you would be writing down few stuff. Yeah. And no need to write down what is there in these slides, because I'm going to send this presentation. In fact, I've already sent it, but I will still email it to Erum. So no need to write down what is there on the presentation, but we will do an exercise where you will actually start writing your own tall tale. So in those 15 minutes, we will come up with an outline for your speech, and then you can build on it so that it becomes easy. Is that fine? Yeah. So as we finish the session, all of you, if you sincerely participate in the session and do what I ask you to do, you will be going home, or you are in your home, of course. You will have a script ready, at least a helicopter view of what you want to do. Yeah. So, okay. So let's start with some quick information about tall tales. Now, what is a tall tale? Tall is exaggerated. Yeah. Just like Midat exaggerated my introduction. Yeah, she exaggerated how many pains I went through, and how successful I am, and it was nice to hear. But good, you're already good at it, so be careful. She's going to be a tough competitor for you in tall tales. Tale, of course, is story. I mean, we all know that. So tall tale, a combination, I would say, is an exaggerated story. Yeah. So how TMI defines it is, for example, a tall tale is a, let me just move this thing up. I was just covering my slide. Okay. So how they say it as a tall tale is a story with unbelievable elements. Yeah. Now, if I say that I'm tomorrow flying to meet Mr. Trump in White House, is it believable or unbelievable? Yeah.
Unbelievable.
If I say I am going to meet Trump, it is unbelievable, right? But if I say division director Nagarajan is going to meet Trump, of course, it can't be unbelievable, because you never know what Nagarajan is up to. Yeah, he's capable of doing that too. Yeah, probably Trump has invited him. So, for example, if I say I kicked my wife, believable or unbelievable?
No.
Unbelievable, right?
Impossible.
Yeah? But if I say my wife kicked me, believable or unbelievable?
Yes.
See, everybody knows my wife so well. How do you know my wife so well? I thought Division K people didn't know my wife. Anyway, so a tall tale is a story with unbelievable elements. So if you say something which is like, it could be possible, then it doesn't fit into that frame of a tall tale. So it has to be something which is unbelievable, related as if it were true and factual. So when you deliver it, you with confidence, you will present it as if, it's possible in your life that I did go and meet Mr. Trump. I played golf with him. Yeah. So that's how you deliver it. Although at the end of the day, we know that it is not possible. For example, yeah, let's read this. You can see the slide. That fish was so big, it nearly sank the boat when I pulled it in. Now, I mean, that's just to show that how big that fish was. Yeah. I'm just trying to, okay. Making sense? Yeah. So now when we talk about a tale or a story, a tale is basically a story, of course. There are certain elements that go into any story, right? And also the same is the case with a tall tale too. So you have a structure. I mean, every speech, every story, everything need to have a structure in terms of an opening, a body, and a conclusion. You will have characters. So in a tall tale, there will be characters, whatever tall tale it may be, So if you are going to meet Mr. Trump, I mean, you are there, Trump is there, and so many different characters that you will bring in. You will have some kind of a conflict. So in a story becomes interesting when there is some conflict, when there is some disagreements, when there is some problem that happens. Yeah. For example, twist. A story becomes interesting when there is a twist. And sometimes you can also bring in a twist to make your story humorous. Yeah. So for example, when I say, what do I say? I had written here something about a twist. So, so I boarded the bus. So this is something just randomly. I boarded the bus, closed my eyes, and woke up in the White House. Yeah. Now, again, that's not going to happen. Yeah. But that's at the end of the day, you're bringing a twist there that you woke up somewhere else. I kicked this ball so hard, it went and hit the Taj Mahal, and the Taj Mahal crashed. Again, something which is not going to happen, but yeah, the story needs to have an ending, a climax, and climax can be interesting, it can be humorous, it can be anything that you want to build upon. Exaggeration, of course, the sky is the limit when it comes to exaggeration. And remember, we human beings normally are pretty good at exaggerating things. We do that a lot in real life. Yeah. Here it is all about consciously bringing it into your speech. Yeah. We exaggerate. I mean, it comes naturally to us, So it's nothing that that is rocket science. Exaggeration is not rocket science. We all do that. Humor. Now, when I talk about a tall tale and I say it is an exaggerated story, if you watch any of the tall tale contest that you must have seen, you will find that the winner ultimately is not somebody who had only exaggeration, but they had humorous exaggerations. So if you can exaggerate with some humor built into it, that always is an advantage. So we will find people coming and exaggerating a lot in a tall tale, but pure exaggeration without any humor is very dry. What adds the, like in Hindi, we say the tadka, the masala, is when you bring in humorous exaggerations. Yeah. So it always goes in your favor. Well, you can bring in irony, strides. Irony is something I wrote here is, for example, the fire station burned down. Yeah. I lit a match and the fire station burned down. Or, for example, the police station got robbed. Yeah. Triads could be anything. I mean, for example, area director Erum's speech captivated, elevated, and illuminated everyone. And she actually does that. It's not an exaggeration. So, yeah, but it's just to give you an example of a triad. Now, another thing about a tall tale story is it should not be too childish, and at the same time, it should not be too adult. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, it cannot be about, especially when you take the audience into consideration, the Toastmaster members of your club, it cannot be about something which is too childish. Yeah. But at the same time, it cannot be too mature also. It cannot be too adult. You should have fun. Yeah, the audience should enjoy. You should have fun saying it. But at the same time, you have to strike a right balance. Yeah, very, very serious topics doesn't work. And very kiddish topics also doesn't work. So just be sure you choose something which is not too childish, not too adult. And see, when it comes to humor, for example, self-deprecating is very good. You know, it's very powerful. But in a tall tale where you are the superhero and you do things which nobody believes you can do, you cannot be self-deprecating. So you cannot put yourself down, you know, because you are somebody who, for example, saves the world. You're somebody who does things which nobody believes you can do. So you are there, you know, as the hero of the story. So it cannot be self-deprecating. Although in humor, self-deprecating is always very, very powerful. But it doesn't work in a tall tale. Now I'll quickly run through, again, I'm not going to go into detail about this because you will be getting this presentation. So this is just English, which you can read through. The speech is just 3 to 5 minutes, and depending on the pace of your delivery or how fast you speak, how slow you speak. So around 500 words, 550 words is a good enough script for this tall tale speech to last for 3 to 5 minutes. Yeah. Again, the topic can be anything under the sun. So you can go wild with your topics. We will discuss a little bit about it as we go along. Should have a theme or a plot. So it should be highly exaggerated, improbable, and have a theme or plot. Now, these are the judging criteria, the judges' ballot, which again, so there is marks for content, delivery, and the language, as in any other speech or any other contest. Again, this will be shared, so you can go through it. So at the end of the day, yeah, it's your content, how well you deliver in terms of your body language, facial expressions, voice modulations, etc., and of course, how appropriately you use the English language. But maximum score again goes for the content part. The rest is for delivery and the language. Yeah. So no, in this case, yeah, there is one difference in this. So in most of the other contests, you will see that content has the highest marks, but here you see delivery has 55 points, content has 30 points, and language has 15 points. So delivery takes up a lot of the score in tall tales. I'm going to skip this because this is something which you can read through later. Now, this is some pictures of a tall tale which I did in Division B, for example. It was called From Kiss to Cake. Now, the topic, you know, so many times people get confused, oh, what topic should I choose? Now, topic can be anything. Here, I chose the topic of my speech was about my TV. Okay, it was a television which I bought home. And what used to happen is at midnight when I'm watching this television and I close my eyes and think of the person on the screen, that person comes alive. Yeah, so I don't know if you've seen this, but I've given the link of the YouTube recording, which you can watch later. Yeah. So what I do is, I being a smart guy, I only keep channels where I see Aishwarya Rai or, you know, all these pretty ladies on the screen, and they come alive and spend some time with me. And what we do is, of course, confidential, so I will not go into details here. So there you see Aishwarya Rai coming alive, and since I was doing it, I'm looking at the screen, and you know it's all happening at midnight, so I'm in my you know, night dress, just to bring some reality into the character. And at the end, what happens is I get a lot of kisses from these beautiful ladies, and then at the end of the speech, you know, somebody finds out what I'm doing, and then she gives me a kick. Yeah, so I'm probably, you all guessed who it is. And then you see this tombstone where it is saying VP Menon killed by his own TV. So that was the whole story about how, you know, ultimately she finds out, she gives me a kick, and then blah, blah, blah. So why I'm trying to tell you this is because topics can be anything, you know. So if you can speak on a TV, you can speak about anything else, you know. for example, even frustrating things that frustrate you can be good topics for a tall tale. So let me ask, what is something that Erum frustrates you?
My in-laws.
Ah, very good. So you can think of solutions which nobody would have thought of. Like you can think of solutions where you take them to Mars and leave them there. Yeah. So, so preposterous solution. So it could be anything. I mean, in-laws, traffic, wife, school, boss, office, business. You think of anything, any problem that you're facing. For example, a traffic problem. You can even think of solutions, preposterous solutions, which can never be true to cure that traffic issues. Yeah. So anything under the sun, you can just let your, mind go free, think out of the box, break all those barriers that, oh, but this is not possible. Yeah, that's what we should be speaking about. Things which are not possible. Yeah. So Erum, please don't take your in-laws to Mars. I was just giving an example for a tall tale. Yeah. So, again, few suggestions from my side. Topic selection, sky's the limit. You can think of anything. So I was attending this session in one of the clubs, and there were a couple of topics which I will just mention some of them. So there was this lady with billions. She won billions, and how she used to go on a buying spree, with those billions. So what all she used to buy and stuff like that, and it was interesting. Then there was another where one person's house is haunted, and he meets this ghost, and then he has this conversations and experience with those ghosts. There was a guy who was speaking about Trump and Putin and how they were so very close friends, and Trump seems to be a very popular guy nowadays in tall tales. So so how they went out playing golf and stuff like that. And there is one lady who has a magic lamp, and she is visiting the world, and she speaks about her experiences when she lands in different countries and different places using that magic lamp. So you see, I mean, sky is the limit when it comes to the topic. But please do kiss before you give the speech. Who will you kiss? Your VP education or the division director? No, it's not about going and kissing somebody. It's about keeping it short and simple. Yeah, so that people enjoy it. Sometimes, people tend to overload the tall tale with a lot of information. Now, what happens is the audience find it's difficult to follow when there are so many characters and so many things happening. So keep the characters few, keep the story simple, because you've got only 3 to 5 minutes. Yeah. So keep it short and simple so that the audience understands it much more easily and they have fun. Otherwise, as you are giving the speech, people are wondering, where am I? What happened? Okay. Make it humorous exaggeration instead of just plain exaggerations. Dramatize the delivery, because you saw that the delivery has a lot of points in the judging sheet. So dramatize the delivery with voice modulation and body language. And especially in a humorous speech or a tall tale speech, the use of your voice, the use of your facial expressions, the use of your body language, becomes very, very important. So use it to your benefit in the best possible way. Twist in the tail we always spoke about, because this twist is always humorous. I mean, you can have humorous twist where, when you take the audience on one path and suddenly you change path, and the audience is left there watching you because you've gone another way. Now that creates a lot of joy and laughter in the audience, and it's a lot of fun for people. You need to enjoy doing it. So don't go into a tall tale stressed out that, oh, it's a tall tale and I have to do this. And, no, you just go there as if you are going to tell a story to your friends. Be relaxed. Yeah, and enjoy doing it, because when you enjoy doing it, and this is very important for humorous speeches and tall tale speeches, unless you enjoy doing it, the audience will never enjoy it. So you have to enjoy it first. Grab the opportunity, and I don't need to say much about it because tall tales come only once a year. Any contest in a club comes only once a year. If you miss it this year, then you have to wait for another year. And the way the world is today, every day is important. Yeah. So don't take anything for granted. So you have the opportunity, use it today, because you never know whether we will have the opportunity to participate next time. I have given my link there for you to watch that speech which I showed you. And then there are a lot of details on the Toastmasters website also. The link is given. You can go through it to get a lot of other informations about tall tales. Okay. Now, before we actually start practicing how to build a tall tale, any questions at this stage?
God clothed Adam.
That question is a little difficult to answer because I didn't get it. Any questions?
VP, if we have a story which is not actually a humorous, but it is a very thrilling story, can we convert that into a tall tale? Like, say, for example,
see, as long as it is exaggerated, it is something improbable, it cannot happen, it is considered a tall tale. But let me be very honest, I've spent 18 years in Toastmasters, and what I have seen from my experience is, if you have a lot of exaggerations and your exaggerations are really good, but still there is somebody with humorous exaggerations, they take
win
the
it.
trophy home.
Right.
Yeah, they take the trophy home, because at the end of the day, people enjoy those humorous exaggeration than just plain exaggerations. So I have heard a lot of speeches where I went to Mars, I went to Jupiter, I went to Saturn. So what? You have to bring in something humorous into that, your trip. You bring in some characters, you bring in some dialogues, you bring in something that happened. Maybe, the challenges that you face, something humorous, that happened. So if there is some humor attached to it, it becomes better. Yeah, and especially in a contest, the humorous exaggerations always
add values.
Better,
DTM Menon?
Yeah.
Yes, it's good that you had humor, but on a virtual screen, to get response to your humor, it's a bit challenging.
Sorry,
so what do
come
you
again,
say
on
for this? On a virtual screen, to get response to humor, it's quite challenging.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
That's a good point. In a virtual screen, although you may not be able to now, for example, I cannot see most of you. I can just see three or four people on my this thing. But so I don't know whether you people are actually frustrated, angry, upset, happy, joyful, seeing me, listening to me. But my frame, what I have built in my mind is that I am going to deliver value to the audience. Yeah. And it's up to them. Some people may be enjoying it. Some people may not be enjoying it. Similarly, so in a screen, when you are doing, you cannot see the humor. But you, from your side, your intent is to give a humorously exaggerated speech. Although you can't see the audience as we do in a physical meeting. So on a screen, when we do, this challenge is always there, but we can't help. Yeah. And especially if most of the people are switching off their cameras, if at least when they switch on the cameras, we are able to see some faces. But here, for example, I'm showing a presentation, so I cannot see even if the cameras are on. I can see very few people. So that challenge will always be there. But remember, the audience is not judging your speech. There are judges sitting there with judging sheet. Yeah, and they are judging. So they are looking at every aspect of that judging sheet and then giving you the marks. So the judges also will not be able to see whether the audience are actually enjoying it or not, but they go by what they feel. If they enjoyed it, they will score you high. Did I answer your question, Kalpana?
Thank you. But again, is there audience response in the judging
Yeah.
ballot?
So at the end of the day, audience response, the judges will watch the screen, and if the people have their cameras on, they may be able to see some reaction from some audience, but you can't actually. Yeah. If I am a judge, I will just glance through the audience to see whether they are enjoying it from some of the facial expressions that I can see. but if the cameras are off for most people, I can't do anything about it. So I will go with my judgment.
Thank you.
Yeah. So what we will do now, you all have your paper and pencil with you. Yeah. We are quickly going into a 5-step model, 5-step process of developing a story. This is some.
And the Book of Revelation has several of these. So these 12.
Okay. So you all have your paper and pencil ready. This is a 5-step process of developing a story, which I learned from somebody called Saveen Hegde. He's a Toastmaster from Bangalore, and I had attended one of his improv shows. And this is a good way to develop a story. It's a very, very simple method, 5 steps, but you can actually develop an outline. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 30 seconds. Think of a topic on which you would like to write a speech about. Just think of a topic about which you would like to write a tall tale about. It could be anything. Just think, 30 seconds, just think. I'm actually going to stop this screen share because I want to see people. So I'm stop. And if you can have your cameras on, that would help. So are you thinking or no? You thought? Afzal, you thought about what to write, yeah? Very nice. Now, since you have that, anybody wants to share what they want to write about? Yes. Yes, Nagarajan.
COVID.
Okay. No worries. Yeah, that's a fantastic topic to write about. Yeah. So what I do is I'm going to tell you the 5-step. So any story, yeah, and this is not the only way to do it. I'm just explaining one way to do it, yeah, because we don't have much time. So you start, whatever is the topic you thought about, you start writing the story. Write a few lines, starting with once upon a time. Yeah, starting with once upon a time, you continue writing 2-3 sentences. Remember, here we are just learning how to do it, and you will actually do it after this session is over. But I'm just going to brief you on how do you do this using that 5-step process. So start with once upon a time. All those people who have their cameras off means they are not writing. There are some questions in the chat box. I will come to that towards the end. Let's finish this exercise first. So did you write at least 2-3 lines once upon a time related to the topic that you thought of? Okay. So I'm sure Erum is talking, her subject is her in-laws probably. Now, the next is, and then. So you wrote once upon a time, and then again you continue the story with these words, and then. And then what happened? Again, write a couple of lines. Okay, did that? So the first was, you started off the story by saying once upon a time, blah, blah, blah. So Nagarajan would have written, once upon a time in 2020, we came across this virus called COVID, you know, and then what happened? Yeah. And then you wrote a couple of lines. The third step is you're bringing the twist into the tale by adding, but suddenly. So once upon a time, and then, but suddenly. This is where you bring some twist into the story. Yeah. So write that. But suddenly, then what happened? Go with that flow of what you've already written. So think of something unexpected that happened. People, the audience would not even believe that something like this would have happened. You know, but suddenly, blah, blah, blah. Did that?
Yes.
So if you have done that, the fourth step is because of which. So, but suddenly, blah, 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 this happened because of which, what happened? So you have once upon a time, and then you bring the twist, but suddenly, because of which, and the final stages, and finally. And this is where you're concluding the story. And finally, you bring in the conclusion. And finally, what happened with your story? Done? Yeah. So you understood these 5 steps, right? Yeah. So once upon a time, and then, but suddenly, where you bring in the twist, because of which, and then you continue to conclude the story. Now, somebody who has written this 5-step and whatever you wrote right now, anybody here who wants to share it?
Can I share?
Yeah, please.
So once upon a time, I woke up from my dream only to realize that I was in an exuberant place with angels all around me. And then they asked me to tell whatever I wished. Out, but suddenly there came a thundering voice, and a ragged, big, evilish demon fell headlong in front of me. Because of which I started trembling out of fear, and finally I woke up from my dream.
You see, so this 5-step process is a very easy way to construct a story. So many times we are lost as to how do we construct a story. Just use these 5-step process. Teach it to anybody. Even children can do it, adults can do it, anybody can do it. Yeah, it's the easiest way that I have learned to construct the story. Now this, what you wrote, these few words, is not enough for your tall tale speech, but you at least have a framework which you can build on. So you have a topic, you've already constructed the outline of the story. Now you add your own stuff into it to make it into a 500 to 600 word speech. Makes it very easy. Anybody else who wants to share?
DTM Nagarajan, you wish to share? Your story is ready?
He was chatting with his girlfriend. He would not have written the story. I saw that.
Okay.
Being the tuition director, I have to be careful about writing stories.
Okay, I'll give it a go. DTM Menon, can I?
Yeah, sure. Anybody.
Okay. Once upon a time, I lived in this beautiful place where I took top-notch care of my bathrooms and kitchens and rooms. My bed sheet would always have plain sheeted. Wait, go out right now. My bed sheet would have plain, beautiful sheets, scented rooms, scented washrooms, clear mirrors, And then one day the door opened. Steam came out. It was my favorite bathroom. And with that steam, a hand reached out, dripping in water, saying, Erum, hand me the towel. I just realized I got married and this is not going to remain for long. And I gave him the towel. And once I do that, the towels are everywhere. Towel in the bathroom, towel on the kitchen counter, towel on the bedroom. This man was not made for towels. And I always loved my towels folded, kept nicely. But one day I hid all the towels in the oven. So not even his father can find it. And when this time the steam came out, his dirt dripping wet hand came out of the steaming bathroom door. I said, there are no towels. That day when that man shivered himself till he dried out with air, he realized he's supposed to keep the towel at place. And now towels not everywhere, towels on their place.
Oh my God, she already has a speech ready. But Erum, what I would recommend, good structure, good story. Probably you could add some more exaggerations, So the exaggerations can be a bit more stronger in the story, but that can be built, humorous exaggerations can be built into it. Well done. Anybody else who wants to share? One more person, Midat. You're good at tall tales.
No, mine isn't that good. After hearing
No worries. Anybody else who wants to? One more person can share.
Toastmaster Afzal.
Kalpana, do you want to share?
Okay, but it's not fully complete. But
No, that's okay. That's okay. We're all learning. We're all learning. Don't worry. Just go ahead.
Once upon a time, I was reading my history lesson for my exam about Wright brothers. On that day, I dreamt of flying with my wings. I flew through the entire India and visited all the monuments and historical places. And then I was going to the beautiful falls called Kutralam, the five falls, which we used to go for vacation every year. I enjoyed the breeze and the medicinal herbal water. But suddenly, water splashed on my face, and I was angry to see who splashed it on me. It was my sister who poured a glass of water to wake me up to go to school that day. And finally the exam came, but I totally got washed out what I need to write on that day. I tried to recall on the exam paper. I came to know that I didn't read about Wright brothers, but I could write my dream, whatever I dreamt the day before. So okay. I need to continue on this.
Good. So you can see that the whole idea for me was to just get you into knowing how this 5-step process works. And I hope for many of you, using this 5-step process, you'll be able to easily create a story. Then once you have the outline, and most of you already have an outline of a speech, you can add a lot more stuff into it in terms of exaggerations and the humor. Now I'll just quickly go through some of the questions here. So yeah, on virtual screen, it's difficult to get response to humor. Yes, we spoke about it. Is it necessary to have a message in a tall tale? Not really. Not really. It's not necessary to have a message in a tall tale. For example, in my kick to kiss speech, I don't think there was any message. Any other question that you probably have? Because I have, I think, 40 minutes and it's already 36 minutes. So any questions if you have? Yeah.
Can I ask one question?
Sure.
Yeah. Is it important to be logical, or I went into space? Is it something that we can say some story about space, going in space with the space suit and going on?
You can, there is no limit to what you can go to. Yeah.
But it's not quite possible to go, without a space shuttle, nothing, just a space suit and then
you have the magical powers. You have the magical powers to do anything and everything under the sun, moon, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even
So,
out of this,
so in a tall tale, you can go crazy. So when you are scripting, this is one contest or one speech where you can just go wild with your thoughts and go as wild as possible. Don't restrict yourself. Don't think, oh, what will they think if I say all this? Khalivali, who cares what they think? At the end of the day, you are enjoying. You need to be there to enjoy what you're doing. Yeah. And but make sure that the exaggerations are not dry, like I said. See if you can make it in some way humorous, and that really helps. And of course, support it with good body language, facial expressions, voice modulations, dialogues, characters, everything that we spoke about.
And also we can
DJ
be some
Menon.
characters. Sorry.
Help,
We can
please
be
continue.
some characters. Like
Local.
I can become a bee and then take some character and go into flowers, something like that.
You can become anything that you want to be. So whatever is your fantasies, which you cannot bring, make it possible in real life, make it possible through your tall tales.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry.
But then, of course, when I talk about fantasies, make sure that it is within the Toastmasters code of conduct.
Yes. Thank you.
So this means I can marry George Clooney, right?
Oh yeah, why not? Anybody, yeah. I mean, this cocktail is the only place where I get to meet Aishwarya Rai and whoever I want to meet. Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, JD, please.
Yeah, just wanted to know that use of prop.
Yeah.
Like you said, in this, it is unsaid thing that if you add humor, you definitely get an advantage. So similarly, what do you think about the prop? Because we use prop otherwise also, but is it a big advantage? No, we can.
No,
but
if it adds value to the speech. For example, when I'm speaking about my TV and I'm using a prop there, I'm using a presentation, right? So I'm using a slide. I'm showing Aishwarya Rai. I'm showing a lot of other beautiful girls there. Now that adds value to my speech because it's all about them. So when I say I met Aishwarya Rai and there is Aishwarya Rai on the screen, it adds value.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's how. So any prop that you use, if it adds value, then definitely go ahead and use it.
Thank you.
But I would always say that don't use props just for the sake of using props. So use it if it is really connected to your speech and if it adds value to your speech.
Thank you.
Yeah, DJ Menon, did the participants for total contest have to complete certain level on path or certain pathways have to on for participation?
No.
He must be a Toastmaster, that's it.
Yeah, and must have paid the fees to the club, and the club must have paid the fees to Toastmasters International.
Okay. Why? What is the benefit of having tall tale other than a Toastmasters life? What is the tall tale contest will give benefit for us other than a Toastmaster?
Well, that's a good question. So you're asking me how will it add value to me if I participate in a tall tale?
Yes.
One, it's a lot of fun. Because see, when you participate in table topics, humorous speeches, international speeches and all, there is certain restrictions within which you need to write the script, tell the story or whatever it is. But in a tall tale, you can just go wild. I cannot speak about these things even in a humorous speech because in a humorous speech also, although there is a lot of humor, exaggerations is a form of humor, but it can be utilized only to a certain extent. But in a tall tale, there is no limit to how much exaggerations you use or how wild you can go. So it's a lot of fun. That is one thing. Second, I mean, participating in any form of contest, like, one of the world champion, David Brooks said, participating in a contest is the fastest way to greatest improvement. Anytime you participate in a contest, no matter whether you win or you don't win, that doesn't matter. Each time you participate, you actually improve a lot. You build a lot of confidence because you're getting out of your comfort zone and doing something, and excellence happen outside your comfort zone. So there is a lot of value add in participating in any contest. And tall tale contest is a lot of fun. You enjoy doing it. You enjoy working on that script. You enjoy cooking up that story, and you enjoy telling that story to your fellow club members. So there is a lot of value add in it. Yeah, fun plus learning.
Thank you, DTM VP Menon.
It is a big advantage when you are in one of the profession where you have to meet the children. So that is a very big advantage, because I know somebody who writes books for children. So that was really, in fact, some of the stories are good exaggeration in that storybook for children.
So I would also say that, even people who, if you are an introvert type of person, not very comfortable with cooking up stories and all, then you should go for it, because it's an opportunity to build a new skill. It's an opportunity for you to improve on that. Something which is holding you back, you break out of those shackles, and so Tall Tales is a good way to improve on that aspect of your personality. You may fail initially, people may not laugh, but that's fine. That whole process of preparing for that contest itself brings about a lot of value add in you. Yeah, so it's not about winning a contest or people not laughing. No, Khalivali, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the process helps you to be a better speaker than what you were. It helps you to be more confident than where you were. Yeah, that's the whole thing.
Okay, DTM Menon, I have a question. Is Tom and Jerry animation is analogy to Tall Tales?
Well, I have seen a lot of Tom and Jerry, but not everything shown there is improbable in nature, is it? Not everything. There are some things which are improbable, which may not happen, but between Tom and Jerry, a lot of things that happen is things which can happen. But a Tall Tale is 99% of it is improbable in nature. It cannot happen.
Do you have any short tips for practicing Tall Tale contest? Any short tips how to make a script and to practice on that?
Oh, I thought this whole session was
last
minutes. This is what summary. I was talking about.
Summary on that.
No, well, there is no summary. There's no one-line thing. I will be sending you that presentation which has those informations, and hopefully this 5-step process which I explained will help you to at least make a start to build that script.
Thank you.
Thank you, DTM Menon.
The one-line advice that I would like to give is don't miss out on the opportunity to participate. Because if you decide not to participate, the only person who is not benefiting is you. Yeah, so you will be doing a lot of disservice to yourself by not participating. I think the time is up. If any questions, one more question, probably last question, if there is. Otherwise, yeah, I think the red is.
The time is finished for the speech, but we have 10 more minutes for the question.
Oh, really? Okay. As long as there are questions, I'm more than happy to answer. Elna is waiting in the waiting room. Somebody can please let her in. Probably she has some questions.
Yes.
Any questions from the...
Right now, lots of imaginations are popping in. The stories are going around. Really wanted to pin it down and improve our...
So start writing, and it's not that, the speech can be prepared in one go. So start writing, thoughts will keep coming. So just keep adding on to it. And, over a period, in a couple of days, you would have your speech ready. Yeah.
Total time is how many minutes for this?
3 to 5 minutes. So, I mean, you could go for a 500 to 550.
They will be showing 3 minutes green, 4 minutes yellow, and 5 minutes red.
Yes.
And 30 seconds of grace period?
Yes. Good. So I think that's it, Erum. I hand over back to Midat.
Thank you so much, DTM Menon. I hope it was really helpful for everyone. For me, it was an impeccable session. And now finally, I know how to create a story, since I'm not a good storyteller, but now I think I have pretty much learned the art of storytelling. We'll try to, I will definitely make sure that I do participate this year. Thank you so much, DT and Menon, for taking the time and enlightening us how to be a better storyteller at it. Everything comes to an end, but just remember one thing, that there will always be a new beginning if this is the end. Keeping that in mind, I was just going through all the stories that we have shared, and everyone shared their thoughts about how we were talking about persistence throughout the session. I just sum it up into a few words. I was like thinking that we have seen that so many people are here. They have gone through so many hardships, struggles, but still in the end, there came a time they were able to get the success or taste success. So in the end, if you see that success is not going to be handed out to you on a silver platter, it's definitely going to be difficult, challenging, and exhausting beyond our imagination. But the path to success is hardly linear. You're going to have to go through all kinds of obstacles you never even know existed before, right? But the only way to make it big is to persist in your endeavors. Don't quit until you see your vision becoming a reality. That's the only thing that I can sum it up. And just remember one thing, you are capable of anything if you don't give up. Just simply believe in yourself. Learn to push through the greatest fear that you have. And there will be a time where you will be able to achieve your wildest dreams in no time. And then you'll be like, wow, that was a dream, I'm already here. With that, we come to a very important segment, which is that everything is incomplete if we are not able to show our gratitude for all the people or for all the things that have been done to us. So for this particular session, to show our gratitude for all the people who were part of today's meeting, I'd like to request our area director, the one with the radiant smile. Are you with us? Yes. So I'd like to hand over the stage to Area Director Toastmaster Erum, and with that, I'll be wrapping up my session as the Master of Ceremony. Over to you, Toastmaster Erum, for a vote of thanks.
Thank you so much, our MC, Toastmaster Midhat, for bringing so much of vibrance and energy to the session. Thank you. And it's always very important why Sergeant at Arms' role and MC's role are so crucial. Because these are the people that set the tone and energy for the rest of the meeting or the event, whether it's an hour, 2 hours, 6 hours. But you will see that these roles are always very crucial, and whoever does it with so much of heart that this is why our events, they go so well. I can see some feedback. I'm very glad to see that many people have had a good time. Very quickly, I would answer Toastmaster Kalpana that clubs have given their dates. Most of the tall tale contests are happening in the end of September or beginning of October. My question would be to DTM Nagarajan. Are we having area and division contest for tall tales?
Yes, it is in the agenda of the district PQD, division PQD. He will confirm once all the clubs are conducted. Yes, the area date and the subsequently division date also will be there. It is in the agenda.
Thank you, sir. So TM Kalpana, if you belong to area 59, then your club has already given a date. So all the, but if not, then you need to go reach out to your VP Education and most probably your PQ. So all the best to everyone. And if your club is not doing it, please go back, ask them to do it. It's an amazing session. And if you have video cameras on and you can see people smiling, looking back and smiling at the speaker, this is enough. Just like how DTM VP Menon has said, that even there were 2-3 people that he could see, but he has that stage in his mind, he has that audience picture in his mind that he knows where the punchline is, where to take a pause, let them have 2 seconds or 1 second to digest, where to take a break before bringing in a suspense or anything. So even if you have few cameras on, it does magic. So I wish everyone all the best, and I would now like to move towards thanking everyone who helped making this event take place today. I would be looking forward for more feedback, and I would request my Zoom master to help me with some certificates out here. So the very first one is obviously And I'm very lucky to have an amazing team today that was on the ground and in the background from my division team. So thank you very much, everyone, for supporting. And last but not the least, I would like to thank my division director, Toastmaster DTM Nagarajan,